Good afternoon. This is Attorney Sean Golding from Golding and Golding. The topic of today's conversation is USCIS Form I-407. This particular form is not a tax form, but it can start the ball rolling on issues involving expatriation and exit tax. So technically, this form is used by legal permanent residents who are seeking to abandon their legal permanent residency status. Um, we'll go into this in a moment, but just letting the green card expire is not the same thing, and you would still be considered a U.S. person for tax purposes. So generally the situation is you have a legal permanent resident, they have a green card, they may be living in the U.S., they may not, and they decide they want to relinquish or give up the status. This is a form of voluntary abandonment, and once a person gives up their legal permanent residency status, no longer have a green card, then they may have to move on to the next step of filing a Form 8854, which is a tax form. So generally there's different types of abandonment. There's voluntary abandonment and involuntary abandonment. Voluntary abandonment is when someone goes into the consulate or files a Form I-407, putting the U.S. government on notice that they are proactively giving up their permanent resident status. Involuntary abandonment is, for example, if someone has a 10-year green card, let's say, and then it just expires. Now, from a U.S. tax perspective, letting the green card expire does not give up your U.S. tax status. So if you had the green card for 10 years, you let it expire, it's 5 years later, you may be still considered a U.S. person for tax purposes. One of the key reasons for giving up the green card, for giving up the legal permanent residency status, not renewing the green card, is expatriation and the exit tax, and covered expatriate, which is the subject of another presentation. If you're a covered expatriate, you may be subject to U.S. exit tax. There's two categories of individuals generally who may fall into the trap of being covered expatriate. The first one is a U.S. citizen by birth or naturalization. The second one, the less known one, is a legal permanent resident who is considered a long-term resident. A long-term resident is someone who has been a legal permanent resident for 8 of the last 15 years. So when a person's approaching the 8-year mark, realizing it doesn't have to be 8 full years, again, topic for a different discussion, but when someone's reaching that point, they may consider voluntarily giving up their green card, relinquishing their U.S. tax status, filing a Form I-407. After that form is filed, the person may have to file a Form 8854, depending on if they fall into a certain category of filer. My name is Sean Golding, and this is Golding & Golding's presentation on Form I-407. If you want some more information, you could visit our main website, goldinglawyers.com, or you could visit our sister site, expatriationattorneys.com, which, as you can tell, is devoted exclusively to expatriation-related issues. Thank you. Have a nice rest of your day.